So I went to Furman University down in Greenville, South Carolina, kind of a local school here. But I grew up in France and Morocco before that. I moved to France when I was 2 and then lived in Morocco until I was in middle school.
Wow.
And so I had this real international upbringing. And then after college, I went and worked on a sailboat in the Middle East for a year.
Really?
And I sailed up and down the Red Sea over into like Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Egypt and all these places. And after I came back from that, my dad was like, all right, you got to get a job. My degree was in political science and French, so it wasn't like a really applicable degree into what are you going to do. So I became a middle school French teacher, and I was teaching middle school French at Sedgefield Middle School. Did that for 2 years. It was really fun, but I could tell it wasn't what I really wanted to do the rest of my life. So after 2 years, the emergency certification that I was using to do that ended, and so I ended up becoming a bartender at Selwyn Pub. So I was
Wow.
bartending at Selwyn Pub, right up there on Selwyn Avenue, and I was working there for about 6 months. Lee and I had just gotten married, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And randomly, a friend of my parents called me up and was like, "Hey, I know a guy who manages some properties and blah blah blah." Kind of a long story. Do you want to go do that? I was like, "I don't really want to do that," but I said, "Don't you work? I think you work for a TV company." And I recently
Right.
heard you guys are going to launch international TV network. I was like, "Look, I don't know anything about TV, but I actually know a lot of people internationally. Maybe I could be of help." So I got hired in. It is the first hire for their international TV network selling ad sales, which is like basically just selling advertising time on the network for people to buy it. So that's how I got my foot in the door. I started doing that, and then I worked my way up.